Hi, my name is Lisa Wisner, and I'm the Associate Director of the ELITE Graduate Program. I'd like to welcome you for coming to the Reflections from Adobe MAX 2010. Our speaker today is Mr. Gabe Fernandez. Gabe Fernandez is a master's, pursuing a master's degree in computer science, and he's going to be graduating in December of 2012. He got his bachelor's degree in construction science from College Station, Texas A&M University in College Station. During the summer, he's actually going to be working with the Chief Information Officer, Technology Officer at USAA. So he got a great deal there. He's going to be going to work with them over the summer, working on some innovative technology, new tools that they're building. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Gabe Fernandez.
Appreciate the intro. Thank you. All right, glad to be here today with you all. And my presentation today is on my conference trip to Adobe. It was in Los Angeles, California. It's pretty amazing. As you can see, this is the LA Convention Center here in the background. And took place in two locations mainly, LA Convention Center, and we would walk across the street to Nokia Theater. So we'll get into all this, but it was fantastic, and I look forward to giving you all this presentation. So I'll explain the reason for this song a little bit later, but there's a reason for the song. So, and we won't let the whole thing play, but just you've heard this song on the radio, I'm sure. So there's that. So Reflections, Adobe. So I'm going to basically give you an overview of the conference itself for about the first half of the presentation. I know that some of you might be interested in going, so I highly recommend it, especially if you're a student. You get a huge discount, and we'll get into all this, but I highly recommend it. So that would be the first half. And then the second portion, I'll get into some actual techniques, some technical stuff. I won't get too technical. But I will cover like what you need to know, get you up to speed, get you with the lingo, and depending on how it goes, I will show you some pretty neat techniques that I've been able to put into action that you can as well. So again, we'll start off with the intro, overview, some of the keynotes, award show, and then we'll go over just real briefly the products, some trends, and then some resources. And I have a lot of slides, a lot to cover, so we'll just go ahead and move forward. Now actually, and if we could dim the lights, I just put together this brief 3 minutes montage basically before I get started, so you can kind of see what it was like to be there. This will give you the visual, an idea, and then I'll start talking about it. You have like a context, so we'll go ahead with that. So. Simpler than you think, trust me.
Did you take that?
I did, yes,
It looks
but
great.
cool. It's a lot easier than you think on that. Sorry, I accidentally right-clicked, so let me just push through. Okay. So that was just to get you an idea. It was a phenomenal conference. That was more of the general sessions, the events. Of course, there's individual sessions where you're like in more of a classroom environment and you learn too. So I have some pictures of that as well. So I was going to briefly cover who Adobe is, the company itself. I didn't know most of y'all are pretty familiar with Adobe, as most everyone is these days. But before that, I was going to do the how, and so I just wanted to thank the Elite Graduate Program because really I would not have been able to go, and so I sincerely thank you all. I've never been to California. It was such an amazing experience. I met a lot of people. Just my skills just pretty much rocketed up. I got exposed to things I didn't even know that existed in technology and that sort of thing. So again, I just want to thank the Elite Graduate Program and the travel program as well. And so just Dr. Laura Rosales, the director, Lisa Wisner, associate director, Julie Joffrey, the intervention specialist, and Lori Blaze, the business support specialist, really help with the itinerary, etc. And if you don't know who Elite is, we need to have a conversation, grad students, and you can visit the website elite.tamucc.edu. And we're going to go ahead and skip this part. It's debating. It's a video on Adobe history, but you can watch that. So we'll go ahead and skip that.
Adobe Revolution.
Okay. So this is Adobe's main mantra. They revolutionize how the world engages with ideas and information anytime, anywhere, and through any medium. Excuse me. And this is just kind of coming straight from their website. They offer business, creative, and mobile software solutions. Of course, how they engage with ideas and information. Their customers include enterprise, knowledge workers, creatives, designers, developers worldwide. It's a phenomenal company, and just some quick facts. They were founded in December of 1982 by two gentlemen, Charles Geschke and John Warnock. Incorporated in 1983. If you're interested, their stock symbol is ADBE. So you can find that. Initial public offering was 1986. Interesting facts, the source of the name is a creek behind the founder's home. So that was pretty interesting, Adobe Creek, headquartered in California. And this is a big key. I mean, it's a huge company. For 2010, their revenues were $3.8 billion. That's huge. They pretty much have had such an impact in technology, and everyone who uses a computer, it's phenomenal. And it's growing, as you can see, Q1 of 2011 already passed 1.1 billion. So as you can see, they're on the route to 4 billion in 2011. And they only have 9,500 employees. So they did have some key acquisitions. Aldis Corporation actually was the creator of PageMaker, and they acquired that company. Frame Technology, Go Live Systems, Excelia. Go Live was a technology that you see in Dreamweaver, where you have the visual display, and then it kind of translated into the HTML code, the code compliant. That's what that company does. So they acquired them over the years. That was 1999. Excelio is more on the business software. And Macromedia, again, they had Fireworks and Dreamweaver. Those are their two key products. And when they acquired Macromedia, they also acquired all their code, all their personnel. And the current CTO of Adobe actually was the lead designer at Macromedia. So he gave the keynote. So that's kind of how they've developed. And in 2009, they acquired Omniture for $1.8 billion. Okay, so this company's on the move, and what Omniture does is web analytics. So they have a new suite of tools that we'll get into. You can see how people are using the web. It's pretty phenomenal, and it's vital information. And here's just a listing of lots of other acquisitions and mergers over the years. So it's a strong company. So again, this was in Los Angeles Convention Center. Just a couple pictures here to get you a better idea. This is the entry. When you walk in, you have the community pavilion. Right here to the right is where you sign in and you get your badge. Back here was the community pavilion where they have food, the unconference section, all those pictures with games and people just kind of walking around, displays. Amazing, huge. So that's where everyone kind of goes in between the sessions. And then when you get there, you'll walk up the steps all around here, back here, and then way back. It just goes forever. This is where all the classroom sessions take place, the labs, the sessions. And what you'll do is you'll get your schedule, you walk up, crowds of people, they have coffee set up, snacks, water, fruit in between. It's pretty amazing, very organized, and I had never witnessed anything like this, just put it that way. So just some more pictures, and then you get a bag with some software in there, lots of handouts, flyers, etc., USB drive as well. And so we'll go ahead and move forward. Just talk about when it is. It's an annual event. This coming up in 2011. Just mark your calendars. It's October 1st through the 5th. So I do encourage you to go. They have early bird pricing. And like I said, it is expensive. But if you're in education, it's not expensive. Okay? Just to give you an idea, the conference normally is like $1,800. Okay? But if you're a student, it's like $199. Okay? So you get all this value. And you actually make money if you go because they give you so much stuff that it's just, I don't know how they do it, but I just thought that's important information for you to know as you're considering this conference. So we'll go ahead and move forward. These are little short snippets describing what Adobe MAX is, so we'll just listen to some Adobe people here.
People ask me what MAX is and what I do there. I think I would just say that if our applications are your first set of crayons, MAX is showing you what to do with them. We have these ideas about what the features will be used for, and we do these demos and walk people through things. And we put it out there in the wild, and a couple months later, MAX is going to be perfect timing. We'll see these things that people have done that we never would have thought of, and for me, that's hugely inspirational. And I would imagine for other people seeing that, that's the greatest thing in the world, is feeling like they too could do that. For myself, coming into it and not knowing what to expect a couple of years ago, I knew that I would represent Photoshop, but just being there, just being around all of it, just the energy of it was very entertaining, very engaging, and it's very inspirational. You leave wanting to do create beautiful things.
More here.
MAX is amazing. It's a great event. It's inspiring, it's busy, it's exhausting, it's creative. It really just gets the juices flowing. If you're a Flex engineer and you've never got to MAX before, you're probably learning about Flex through blog articles, developer center articles, user group meetings, videos online, documentation, things like that. But if you go to MAX, MAX is basically all of that times a billion. You get to meet the people who are writing the code, meet the people who are creating those inspiring, beautiful applications, meet the people who know about what's going to happen next for the releases for the technologies that you love. You get to see all of that, experience all of that, and it's much more dynamic versus static learning that you might have in just sitting at home. There's been a lot of talk about Flash on mobile devices, and so we're going to be talking a lot more about that at MAX, and not just talking about the runtimes like Flash, Clear, and Air on smartphones, but showing you what you can do with Flex to build mobile applications, what's coming up in the tooling to help you build those kind of mobile applications. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking to you guys about Flash on a bunch of different devices. And Flash Player on a smartphone is incredibly amazing, so come to MAX to learn more about that.
And the last one here.
You're definitely going to want to come to MAX to go to the general sessions and see the latest and greatest that you can do with Creative Suite and the Flash platform. Every time I go to a session that's led by an area that I might not necessarily have that much of an understanding about, I always find that I learned something new in motion graphics or something new in terms of e-learning or something new about other areas that I can bring back with me into what I do as a developer or as a designer. Well, I mean, there's always excitement at MAX, whether you're going to Bash or you're going to some of the networking events, and I think that networking connection that you make won't just, isn't just there at Max, it will take you and propel you even further beyond Max by making those connections.
So just some good insights, I thought, by the Adobe people. And again, if you're a designer, a developer, if you're in business, education, there's so many different sessions covering so much different information. There's definitely something for everybody that uses technology. Again, just like you said, there is the sessions, but there's the whole networking part of it, which is so crucial. I met a lot of people I'm still in contact with through that, some very dynamic people. And then, of course, they have sneak peeks coming up, and it's just fun, educational, and I highly recommend it. So real quick on the conference details, we'll go over a little schedule and how that works. I'll just talk briefly about the food in the Max Fashion, mainly on the education. Of course, you get your badges here. Now, they have the schedule, and I just put this picture. As you can see, it's very large. So they have pretty much, we're talking about, over 350 sessions, labs, bring your own laptop labs, unconference sessions, etc. So the way that you do it, they have an online scheduling tool. You can pick what you want to do ahead of time, and you can change it while you're there. It's very flexible. So just start thinking about what kind of things you want to learn with Adobe, and then the rooms do fill up, so you want to register ahead of time. So the difference between the sessions, I'll just explain that real quick. The sessions is like an hour and a half. You sit in the classroom, and someone up in the front giving examples, kind of teaching, okay, just like normal classroom setting. The labs, when you go into a lab, it's a little bit longer, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You walk in, they have all the computers set up, and then someone's up in the front again with the big screen. You follow along. They have handbooks that you go through, like a lab setting, and those are neat. I mean, you walk in, you get on the computer, the software's preloaded, and it's more hands-on. So you actually, by the end of it, you actually create, and you have products to show at the end. Bring your own laptop lab is similar. However, you bring your own material, and they tell you what to do. So I attended all of these sessions, labs, except the pre-conference is additional cost. But the bring your own laptop is neat. You sit in there with your own laptop. They have all the chargers sitting there, and same thing. They have a manual. You go through the lab, and actually created a mobile app with jQuery, and the laptop's real neat. So we'll get into that. And then the unconference is just more nonchalant in the community pavilion. Kind of you walk by, and there's like all kinds of action going on. People moving around. You can go in, go out, and they talk about just cursory topics of all sorts. So that's that. And this is the unconference. You can see these different tents set up. And this is the online scheduling. When you walk in, you can always check your schedule, make changes. They add updates while you're there too when they make announcements. So there's another view. Again, the convention center is where the sessions are held. The live theater is where the keynotes are held. Okay, Nokia. And there's Adobe. Now there's 3 main tracks, so you kind of figure out what you are. There's design track, develop track, and the envision track. So the big thing when you go there, everyone asks you, are you a designer or a developer? So you just decide for yourself. You can be both, designer and developer. I consider myself more of a developer. A designer would be someone who creates print ads and, does a lot of flash animation. Designers also do design websites. Developers get into more of like what I do, web design, web development, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that type of thing, PHP. So I consider myself more of a developer, and they have lots of other different languages that they cover. And Envision is more of the higher management, a little less technical, more big picture. They have like advertising. Actually, I have just a table here. These are just some of their what they considered featured sessions. These are the titles in the design track. Dreamweaver, it's design, develop, Photoshop, Flash type of stuff for develop. We have, developing on touch-based devices, optimizing for mobile devices, more coding type of things. And then your Envision, multi-screen development techniques on a bigger picture level, future of advertising. It's anything you can think of. And these are some of their most popular. Again, just some more Photoshop on the left, Flash, graphic designers for your design. I'll get into more web techniques here, and then and they are mixed. A lot of times they say this is for developers and designers, so it goes hand in hand. These are some of the sessions that I attended. It's very tough to decide. It's one of the hardest things, actually, to decide what to do. But these are just a list of pretty much the sessions I attended. Building applications, PHP, the actual Dreamweaver, the lead product manager, the person that's creating these products. these are who you get to see. So did some HD video production, designing CSS3, jQuery, HTML5, some rapid prototyping. As you can see, leaning mainly for development, because I am computer science, and that's what I'm interested in. And accessibility, Google TV, they talked about web apps for Google TV, and just in and out of the unconference sessions. So this is another quick video, and I may not play the whole thing, but it gives you more of the classroom pictures here. So this is what it's like when you're in the sessions. That's a lab in there. Cool tools. This is the unconference. It's kind of out there. They record every session as well, so you have access to that, by the way. Just kind of see. There's one more thing I want to show here. A lot of people. It's awesome. It's another unconference session. They had podcasts going on in the unconference. This was the Bring Your Own Laptop lab, so as you can see, everyone brings their own laptop and follows along with the instructor. So this is the last one. Google TV was there as well, so talk about that. Some of those last pictures you saw, when you go there's a lot of creative people. All kinds of different color hair, tattoos. So it's a very creative group of people. So it's different than staying what you do all the time. So that's another great aspect of it. Another reason to go is, got to tell you, they do treat their customers well. So the first day, they did a lot of announcements on mobile. And at the end of it, they said, everyone gets a free phone. So we did get a phone, okay? It's a Droid phone. It's a Verizon, but it's like a computer. It has a gigahertz processor. And that was day one. So this is, as you can imagine, expensive. Okay, so after the conference, you just get in the line, you show them your badge, and you get that. Day two, it was more on video and where that's going and how Adobe plays a part in that. And the CEO of Logitech, they had huge names there. One of them being CEO of Logitech came on the stage, and at the end of that, they talked about web apps and Adobe Air with Google TV, and they said, congratulations, everyone gets a Google TV. And it's not a TV. I think some people think it's an actual TV. It's actually a little box, looks like a DVR recorder, you know. But what's amazing, they just wheeled all these Google TVs, you sign up for it, and then about 4 to 6 weeks later, you know, sure enough, I have a Google TV and I use it every day right now. And they do that because we're developers and we can develop apps for the Google TV, etc. The food was amazing. You really could just, they give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, basically, okay, if you want to eat it. And you also do get a lot of product previews and discounts. If you are an attendee, you get discounts on their software. So that covers the organization of the conference. We'll cover real quick the keynotes and just some pictures of the awards and the sneaks. So in day one, this again is CTO Kevin Lynch. He covered trends for websites, digital publications, video, enterprise apps, gaming. That was his outline for the day. So this is a huge trend. This was the overlaying theme, I would say, for the whole conference, even through the sessions. And this is different screen size techniques, okay? So as you can imagine, you know, there's all these new devices coming out. I mean, of course, we have the iPad, okay, and that's a computer. We have the phones. We have the iPhone. But there's a BlackBerry Playbook. It's a different size. There's these netbooks that are a small size. All kinds of size. It doesn't make sense. Like, how are we going to design a website or a web application? And like, are we going to design a different one for every device? I mean, what are we going to do? So the way the industry is going, the trend is to do design for different screens. And the key word, it's not on here, but it's media queries. Okay, so through CSS media queries. And I have an example of this. That's the key thing I want to show you. If anything you take away, you can put this into action today. It's not too hard to, and it's CSS media queries. He also talked about HTML5, CSS3. Adobe Edge is a technology they've created for print magazines. When they have images within text, it can move around. The text automatically goes around it, etc. This is interesting, the net averages, okay? And this is just a keynote to subscribe to the Adobe Edge newsletter. There's some vital information. But net averages is a new tool that is very neat because it gets you an idea of the market and currently what's being used. So you can go there, netaverages.adobe.com, you sign in and everything. What this picture shows is that currently, as of February 2011, 55.8% of users use Microsoft type of browser, which is Internet Explorer. 20% are using Mozilla, 9.7% Google Chrome, etc. And you can check for screen resolutions, operating systems, browser versions, etc. And you can actually get, I'll just show you just a little live example. Okay. This is pretty neat what you can do here. Okay, so what you can do, for example, HTML5 is a new technology, okay? If I'm a developer, I want to see what people are using so I know what I can develop for and not, and what I have to do. This is a great tool to do that. You can see, let's do a different, something more common. Browser type, okay? You can see trends, so you can see that Internet Explorer, it's going down 6.9%, Mozilla going down, Google Chrome is coming up as a trend, so you want to see this. So what's cool is that you can click this, okay, and if for some reason I want to know when it gets to a certain percentage, I can set up an email alert for any of these features. So let's say I want to subscribe to an email alert when the people using Google Chrome goes to like 40%. So there it is. Since I'm logged into my account, they're going to send me an email when Google Chrome across the web is approaching 40%. This is a basic example, but some of the keys would be for, let's see, JavaScript, actually HTML5, okay, the features. These are a lot of kind of advanced features, CSS3, but if you're doing an advanced web app and it relies heavily on CSS table display, and you see that a lot of people are using it or a lot of people aren't using it, well then that's going to change how you develop or what you fall back on, etc. So that was a pretty neat tool. So netaverages.adobe.com. On that. The data, just thought is important. It comes from the Site Catalyst customer sites, but some of their customers include apple.com. So it's a pretty good representation of the market. But I always want to know where the data is coming from. So this is just a tip on a good workflow that I would use. Use net averages when you're starting out. If you are fortunate enough to have your own site with data, you want to look at Google Analytics data. And then another tool, which is the Adobe Browser Lab, then you're a happy camper, right? So you can do that and you're good to go. Okay, so this is just an example of, I left out the numbers, but I have the percentages here of how you would use Google Analytics. You want to look at your site and see, this is operating systems, for example. You can see the percentages, how many people are using the BlackBerry, Android. If you're going to start, for your iPad, if you're going to start developing specifically for that. You can see screen resolutions, which is key. Right here we can see that the majority of screen resolutions, 1280 by 800, it's 18%. So you can see what your user. So I would definitely, if you're not using Google Analytics, it's a great tool. And that's Flash versions. And of course, you can see what browsers people are using for your site. So in our case, we're TimCC, and this is the Elite site. 38% are using Internet Explorer, and a lot of features just don't work, quite frankly, in Internet Explorer, and there's other techniques you can use to make them work. So you want to make sure, since this is the majority of our user base, you want to plan for that. And then the Browser Lab is a great tool. Just have some screenshots. What this allows you to do is see how your website's going to appear across all browsers. So we have the Elite site, and we're looking at Firefox 3.0. It just takes a snapshot. But what I thought is neat, you can do side by side. Here's just a quick example of Internet Explorer. As we can see, we have the Elite site, Firefox, and then Internet Explorer. And here's something that's different that you can see. Okay? So, and I noticed this before, but what it is this is a jQuery JavaScript plugin from Facebook. Okay? So in Firefox and every other browser except Internet Explorer, it works, okay? But if you fire up Internet Explorer, it's not there, right? So what we need to implement here is a fallback version. It's going to check if through this. There's different techniques, but you can check in the header. If it's less than Internet Explorer 8.0, you can serve up a different div right here. You can do various different techniques. And the goal is to make it look all the same. So browserlab.adobe.com, and you can do onion skinning. It's a great tool. Day 2 keynote. This was all about user experience. It was a little more fun, fast-paced. They had Pimp My App, Top Chef kind of sketches and skits. They talked about jQuery, which I'll get into. jQuery is key technology of the future. Okay, jQuery is pretty much every site now is using jQuery one way or another. They actually had the creator of jQuery at the conference as well, and he's working real close with Dreamweaver, and they just released CS 5.5, and they worked real close with him to put a lot of that language into the user interface, Dreamweaver, code hinting, etc. And they had a Photoshop video 20th anniversary, and they talked about the new HTML and Flash, HTML5, for the Flash developers. Also covered monetization, which is a big key. The bigger design, I'll show a little video on this, and monetization of mobile apps. Just to cover on monetization, they have tools now where what Adobe's developed with Omniture, they have tools where if you have a mobile app, okay? And you design your app. You can now find out like how many people look at it landscape, how many people look at it portrait, etc. So you can get all your data for that. This is another video, but I'm going to go ahead and skip that. It's just kind of fun video they showed. And William Shatner was there, so that was amazing. And he did the designs and the sneak peeks. This is a quick overview of the products. I just put this image just to show you that they have tons of products. That's what it comes down to. They cover everything from print to video to graphics, business applications. And this is their main suite, the Creative Suite, and that's what the majority of their products are in. So if you have questions about these, we can go over that later. So now I just want to get into some jQuery. Now this, what I'm actually going to do is breeze through the jQuery. I want to show you all the multi-screen techniques. Okay. So this is a little bit of information about Java and running low on time. But it is a JavaScript refresher. This is kind of technical, but it gets into what JavaScript is. Okay. Now a lot of these sessions get pretty technical, and they have beginner, medium, and advanced. Just to show you, this is a function, JavaScript function. This is your keyword. This is very basic. Parameters, name of the function, and this is used in jQuery. Okay, so it's like your morning routine. I can call this. I'm going to shower, dress, eat breakfast, etc. Okay. Now, that's just the okay. So I want to get in jQuery. This is the creator of jQuery. It was launched in 2006. Okay, and all jQuery is JavaScript, and it's a collection of libraries that other people have written for us that make it easier and faster. Just to use jQuery, you just have to link to this and add it to your website. That's it. Then you can start using the jQuery library. Okay. Some of the syntax, and I know this is a little technical, but if you use the $, this is how you call jQuery. Right here, okay? And I'm going to show you a case study where I used jQuery recently and some Ajax to accomplish some pretty cool things. And you can chain things together. And what it does is it allows you to manipulate the document object model. And you can, once your page is loaded, you can change the way it looks, okay? They have all kinds of plugins. One is called Defuscate, where you can have your email address look like an email address, but it's actually not. So if you ever get spam, spam goes and looks for your email. If you use this plugin, you can still have your email address, but these spam bots won't catch it. So it's kind of neat. So Ajax, this is an Ajax call. This is a jQuery.ajax, okay? And then this is the syntax for it. What Ajax is, it used to stand for asynchronous JavaScript and XML, okay? But it no longer stands for that, I found out. The creator of Ajax basically defines Ajax now as no definition. He actually doesn't give it a definition. He retracted the definition. So what it actually refers to now is a technology whenever any website or web application fetches or reloads information in the background to update the document. So any kind of technology that does that without reloading the actual page, that's called Ajax. And so here's a quick case study of it, and it's with a diversity catalog we recently developed. So I'll just bring that up real quick. So here's Ajax in action, okay? We load up the page, and if we click, let me give you a better example. When you click here, okay, normally the way we would do it in the past, you'd have a whole new page, okay? everything would reload. It'd fetch everything again from the server, the header, graphics, the left nav, etc. So not only does that tax the server, okay, every time someone's clicking a link, it would reload the whole page, and it takes longer. So now this is for user experience. It's all about user experience. Every single thing here, basically, any link, this is all a div, okay? This is the Ajax content div. Whenever you do anything, it calls that function, and then it reloads this, keeping everything else intact, including any queries to the database. So I want to show 30 per page. Boom, it's fast. We're going to show 30 per page. Okay, we want to do it descending. Boom, that's another query to the database. Now it's descending. If we want to do a search for events, okay, and we go type, okay, search. Now all we have is events types, as you can see, okay? And now we have less. It queries the whole database, and even this all stays within there. So it's pretty much an application. So I think that's pretty key, Ajax, and that's where a lot of the technology is going. This is an example of jQuery. When you click grid, table, it's just showing, it's manipulating the document object library. So there's that case study. So I thought that was neat. And see if we can get into one last thing here, the CSS and media queries. Okay, CSS3 does a lot of the effects you see these days. I'll show you one again live. The grid, the outline here, okay, that's a box shadow, and that's a CSS3 technique. It's not going to work on Internet Explorer, but it is Internet Explorer 9. We'll take advantage of that. So let's go back. These are just some other examples of CSS3, rounded corners, the box shadow, and that's how you accomplish it, if you're interested. Okay. You can do all kinds of things. And what's cool, okay, the neat thing about this and how it impacts business, okay, all this is just computer language. It's just script, okay? In the past, this would be an image. It would take forever in Photoshop. It would be quite big, 100 kilobytes, 200, who knows. What's key is that now you can do this with CSS3. So there's like no data being used. It's all programming. So it's going to make your page load faster. And they've done studies. Google did a study recently in Microsoft where they would intentionally slow their page load rate. So when they slowed it by like half a second, they had all this data, and they found like all these people were like leaving their site. So it makes a huge difference. It makes a difference in your customers' eyes if you're a business. If your page takes forever to load, they don't trust you, okay? They're going to go to the competitor. So they've actually measured this with big e-commerce sites like Amazon, that if their pages load faster, there's a direct correlation with more revenue. So that's key. So if you learn these techniques, you're valuable. So CSS3 and jQuery and Ajax, and it's valuable in lots of different ways, as you can see. And these are all CSS3 techniques. You can now do opacity, onion skinning type of techniques. And this right here is animation. Again, this is all code. This is all just CSS3 techniques. You can tilt, 3D, hover. Normally this would be like Flash, and it would take forever to load, etc. So, excuse me, I get some water here. Okay. CSS3generator.com will give you some CSS3 for you. You don't have to code it all yourself. So the media query is the last thing we'll cover real quick. Like I said earlier, we have all these different device sizes. More are going to come out. So the way to deal with that is CSS media queries. Okay. So what are we going to do? Allows you to use the CSS stylings on the fly. Depends on the screen size. What you need to do is put meta name equals viewport. You have to put this into your meta tags. what this does, you know when you look at a website on your phone and it like shrinks everything down, it zooms? That's good. But what this does, it tells all these browsers not to do that. It tells these phones, don't shrink the page down, because we have another way to handle it. So that's what you want to do, and you just put this code. It'll take care of that for you. Okay. This is an example of a media query. You just put this in your CSS, and it's going to tell this ID to do something else whenever the screen size is 481 by 1024. Okay. So this is a case study here, and this will be the last thing. And I want to just show you, if anyone has their iPad, does anyone have their iPad? Okay. Okay, so go over to elite.tamucc.edu/diversity, and you can do it on here. Let me just reload it. Okay. So there's the diversity cat. It looks good, you know, it looks good so far. Okay. Now what I want you to do is flip the device like in portrait mode. Okay, so now it's not so good, right? You have to scale around, etc. So that's not good for usability. So the way that we deal with that is a media query, and here's the code right here. Okay. So I just commented it out. Okay. So I'm just going to upload this to the server. Okay. A lot of cool stuff in Dreamweaver too. Could cover that later. Okay. So now go ahead and refresh the page. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So now if you take a look, okay. Yeah, and move it portrait. Okay, so, and I'll show the screen too. Okay. So yeah, I mean, what we had is we have the, the top and the side, etc. So when the screen size that's visible gets smaller, it recognizes this, and it calls. What it does is it's changing these CSS attributes. So the way this is the TAMU site, so the left nav bar, for instance, we just put a div around that. We just say display none. Okay, so it just hides it. Same with the heading and the footer. It's gone, right? All these just refer to the container, and the TAMU CC site has plenty of them, so we have to all put them at the width of 768. And that's how you accomplish this. And there's a lot of uses for it, and that's the technique that you do. So, in media queries. So, with that, we're pretty much out of time here, but I do want to just go down to give you some resources, and then, just put these on the screen for you. Of course, we talked about all these on the last page, just these links. So ran out of time, fortunately. I wish we would have gotten some more, but these are the key resources: Browser Lab, Net Averages, Max Online. You can actually view some of the sessions if you want to learn further. Adobe TV, and I'll have this posted on my blog as well. So I do thank you for your time. There's so much more to cover. There's so much technology. But I did just want to thank again Elite, and thank you all for your time. And I hope you learned a lot and you got a lot out of it. So thank you.